The UN General Assembly has voted 128-9 to adopt a motion rejecting the US decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. That is despite the US president threatening to cut billions of dollars in aid to countries that dare to defy him. The UK was among those countries to vote against Trump, putting further pressure on the special relationship after the pair got into a war of words when Trump retweeted several Britain First videos earlier this month. May and Trump did speak on the phone over the Jerusalem issue after Britain opposed America in a similar vote which took place yesterday. Downing Street admitted after the call that the leaders had taken different positions. There was no mention of the Britain First videos during the call, according to a transcript released by Number 10. Trump had said ahead of the vote that we're watching the outcome, while Nikki Haley, his representative, had warned that the US would be taking names. Seven countries: Guatemala, Honduras, Togo, Micronesia, Nauru, Palau and the Marshall Islands joined Israel and the United States in opposing the measure. Among the 35 countries that abstained were Argentina, Australia, Canada, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Mexico, the Philippines, Romania, and Rwanda. Ukraine, which supported the draft resolution at the Security Council, was among 21 countries that did not turn up for the vote. The measure was sent to the General Assembly after it was vetoed by the United States at the Security Council on Monday, although all other 14 council members voted in favor. The United States will remember this day, US Ambassador Nikki Haley told the Assembly. America will put our embassy in Jerusalem, Haley said. No vote in the United Nations will make any difference on that. But this vote will make a difference on how Americans look at the UN and on how we look at countries who disrespect us in the UN, she said. When we make generous contributions to the UN, we also have a legitimate expectation that our goodwill is recognized and respected. While resolutions by the General Assembly are non-binding, a strong vote in support carries political weight. The vote, while a victory for the Palestinians, was significantly lower than its supporters had hoped for, with many forecasting at least 150 yes votes. Earlier in the day, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan urged countries not to sell out their democratic will in return for petty dollars. Erdogan called on members not to be swayed by Trump's warning and said in a televised speech, "I am calling on the whole world, never sell your democratic will in return for petty dollars." The U.S. decision on December 6 to recognize the city as Israel's capital broke with international consensus and unleashed protests across the Muslim world, prompting a flurry of appeals to the United Nations. At an emergency session, the UN General Assembly will decide on Thursday on a draft resolution reaffirming that Jerusalem is an issue that must be resolved through negotiations, and that any decision on its status has no legal effect and must be rescinded. The measure was sent to the General Assembly after it was vetoed by the United States at the Security Council on Monday, although all other 14 council members voted in favor. Trump warned that Washington would closely watch how nations voted, suggesting there could even be reprisals for countries that backed the motion, which was put forward by Yemen and Turkey on behalf of Arab and Muslim countries. They take hundreds of millions of dollars, and even billions of dollars, and then they vote against us, Trump said at the White House. Well, we're watching those votes.Let them vote against us. We'll save a lot. We don't care. Ahead of the vote, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blasted the UN as a house of lies, saying Israel rejects outright this vote, even before it passes. The attitude to Israel of many nations in the world, in all the continents, is changing outside of the UN walls and will eventually filter into the UN as well. The house of lies, he said. Diplomats expect strong support for the resolution, which is non-binding, despite the U.S. pressure to either abstain, vote against it, or simply not turn up for the vote. On Tuesday, U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley sent an email to fellow UN envoys to put them on notice that the president will be watching this vote carefully and has requested I report back on those countries who voted against us. We will take note of each and every vote on this issue, she wrote in the message seen by AFP. And on Twitter she said the US will be taking names when ambassadors of the 193-nation assembly cast their votes. Nikki, that was the right message, Trump said. How do they call America? The cradle of democracy. The cradle of democracy is seeking to find will in the world that can be bought with dollars, he said. Mr. Trump, you cannot buy with dollars Turkey's democratic will. Our decision is clear, he said. Erdogan said he believed that the world will teach a very good lesson to America today, Thursday. No country has veto powers in the General Assembly, unlike in the 15-member Security Council where the United States, along with Britain, China, France, and Russia, can block any resolution. Among the 14 countries voting in favor on Monday were Britain, France, Italy, Japan, and Ukraine, who are expected to do the same at the Assembly. Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki accused Washington of threatening member states, saying the UN session would show how many countries will opt to vote with their conscience. While resolutions by the General Assembly are non-binding, a strong vote in support of the resolution would carry political weight. Israel seized the largely Arab eastern sector of Jerusalem during the 1967 Six-Day War and later annexed it, claiming both sides of the city as its eternal and undivided capital. But the Palestinians want the eastern sector as capital of their future state and fiercely oppose any Israeli attempt to extend sovereignty there. Several UN resolutions call on Israel to withdraw from territories seized in 1967, and the draft resolution contains the same language as past motions adopted by the Assembly.